Hey everybody, it's Joever. Um, President Joe Biden is not going to be running for re-election after all. In fact, he just released a statement over on Twitter/X saying, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation." He went through some of his policy positions, and said, It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision." And of course, he also thanked Vice President Kamala Harris for being a good partner, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's it. Joe Biden not running. So now look, for those who were against this whole idea, and there was a lot, and there was a lot of, I think, people who had good intentions, and then some who maybe didn't have the best intentions. For those who were against this, saying that this should have happened last year, I actually agree. It should have happened last year. We should have had a robust primary. We did not. There was basically a coronation. Some of the people who were so intent on pushing him out are the same people who also rallied behind him back in 2020 in order to prevent Bernie Sanders from becoming the nominee. Those are the ones who pushed him out now. And again, I think there are good reasons that they did to try to push him out, mainly the terrible poll numbers, the fact that right now, Biden kind of hit the ceiling on polling, so there was no guarantee that he would actually be able to beat Donald Trump in an election, because even though he had Democrats, locked up, that's not, you can't just win an election with just Democrats. You also have to have independents, okay? And a lot of people, even two-thirds, three-quarters of Democrats, roughly, it was about two-thirds actually, didn't believe that Joe Biden had the mental capacity to be able to last the next 4 years. So, I mean, that's a legitimate concern. Now, that said, I would still have voted for Biden, because if something happened to him, if he had to step down during his term, it would have been Kamala Harris. So those who were pointing out, hey, wait a minute, why not just let that happen, support Biden, whatever, and let Kamala Harris. And if you don't, it means that you're against Kamala Harris. You still want a black woman to take over for the presidency. Now, I'm totally fine with Kamala Harris taking over the presidency. My issue here is, and why I supported this decision for Biden to step down, is that you gotta win first, okay, to be president. You gotta win first. And Joe Biden, I just don't think was able to physically, be able to run a vigorous campaign to take down Donald Trump. And again, you've got to win first before you can do anything. And there was a lot of doubt on whether or not Joe Biden could actually win. Now, that said, what do we do going forward? Well, what we do going forward is to make sure that Harris is the nominee. Now, look, anybody who's followed me during the primary knew that Harris was definitely not my first choice, right? Kamala's a cop. But that said, I think a great way to spin that is to say, well, who better than a cop to take on Donald Trump, who is a convicted criminal? So there's that. But again, I think the reason that Kamala should be able to take over is that she's already on the ticket. She'll already have access to all the money that has been raised by the Biden-Harris campaign, and that it wouldn't take much for them to realign their political campaign to run with Harris on the top of the ticket. And then, of course, Harris could pick someone who is, to be a VP. Obviously, that would be maybe a Pritzker or something, a Midwestern governor, perhaps, progressive. I mean, it really, you could go anywhere. Hopefully not Shapiro though, because Josh Shapiro, pretty Zionist, and if you want to go in a different direction on Gaza, in which Harris has been, I think she's been pretty, open to doing so, and not going just the blind, complete and utter defense of everything that Israel does or has done in Gaza. I don't think that's the right way to go, and I don't think that that's what a lot of people in the Democratic base really wanted out of that. But anyway, like I said, I'm kind of going off on a bit of a tangent here. But what I hope will not happen is a blitz primary where we end up getting somebody just completely different that messes things up. Look, I think we should all, as Democrats, line up behind Harris and then make it official, just because, again, the logistics. It should have been a more robust primary and should have gotten somebody different. I would have supported somebody very different than Harris, someone more progressive had they been able to run in a robust primary. But we're here at where we're at right now. 4 months to go. Harris is pretty much the only person that could that I trust to do this at this point, and I do think that she can win. She is very energetic. She does do good speeches, and she will be able to take on Donald Trump and and Trump Vance, and take them on, and I do think win. So really, thank you to President Joe Biden for putting the country over your own ambitions, over everything else, and the putting the party over your own ambitions, and passing the torch. So that's the news today. Take care, everybody, and I'll look at some more of some of the fallout from this decision on tomorrow's videos.